Hello, everybody. Welcome to MichiganMatters.org. My name is Mark Fortin. Today, we got a few things to talk about. We have a special guest with us today. But first, I want to go over just a few things quickly. As you might remember, the last video we did was with Jackie Eubanks talking about ranked choice voting, and she described it very well. Well, I have an update on that. That was a week ago. She said the proponents of ranked choice voting, who are attempting to get a ballot proposal on the ballot, they postponed for a while the starting day of this petition drive. They're going to start on July 4th. So that gives us a little bit more time to get the word out, talk to people, and hopefully convince people not to sign that petition. We don't want that to get on the ballot and have to spend millions of dollars defeating it. But anyway, I'd like you to go and look at our last week's video. She gives a perfect example of what ranked choice voting is. It's much worse than I thought it was. And I think you too, if you see that, you'll decide that this has got to be stopped. Anyway, I'd like to talk about very briefly about a handful of bills in Lansing, just a brief discussion on them. Now, these are ones that are being considered. No one's voted on them yet. Deportation Task Force, HB 4472. It would propose a specific actions and recommendations to ensure that Michigan is fully cooperating with federal immigration enforcement efforts. And I think that's a very important bill, and we should call our state reps in the House and try to get people to get this voted through. Then there's the Prohibit Discrimination Based on Vaccination Status, HB 4475. It would prevent any kind of discrimination on whether you are vaxxed or not in employment or education or anything. That's a very good bill too. The Real ID driver's licenses, HB 4473 and 74. This would prohibit the forcing of everyone to get that ID, Michigan driver's license ID. So people that don't want it would not have to get it, which I think is only fair. If somebody doesn't want it, why should they have to? But that is, again, HB 4475. HB 4473 and 74. I'm sorry. The last one is a little group of them, excuse me, and that is HB 4238, 39, 40, and 41. That's a series of bills that prevent Michigan institutions, including colleges and so on, from accepting or rewarding grants to foreign entities that may be adversarial. So those bills too, I think we should consider. So anyway, now that's all I have to say about that. We're going to keep an eye on different bills in Lansing. There's a lot of them to be considered. They consider a lot of bills. Everybody wants their name on a bill. But anyway, I want to go to our special guest, Valerie Ramey, and she is going to be discussing something that a lot of us have concerns about. We see them in our skies all the time, Chem Trails. So here's Valerie.
Hi, my name is Valerie Alleman Ramey, and I've been researching these chemtrails for a few years now, and I actually do my own testing. I'm a septic and well inspector, so I deal with the lab on a daily basis. So I asked them how to test for chemtrails and soil and stuff, and they gave me all the right bottles to test for. There is a difference between chemtrails and contrails. Contrails dissipate, chemtrails stay. I did a lot of testing on aluminum, barium, lithium, strontium, and formaldehyde was my biggest test that I tested for from a rain barrel that was out for 3 years, from a bucket that was out for a few weeks, and that was during the Canadian fires. And then I did the soil sample. And the aluminum levels were off the charts because there should be 0 aluminum in the air. There should be no natural aluminum floating around in the air. And in the rain barrel, there was 0.040 milligrams per liter. The barium, you really don't need to know the amounts, but the barium, lithium, strontium, and formaldehyde, these are all things that people say aren't in chemtrails. But why are they in my rain barrels? And in the bucket out for a few weeks, why are they in just regular rain? they're coming down, and I don't know if you can see them on the screen, but there's still aluminum, lithium, strontium, and formaldehyde that are coming up in these results, and they're quite alarming. And then in the soil sample, what's most alarming, because lithium, there's natural lithium in the soil. So it could be part of that. But the aluminum level is 8,578, and that level is over the safe limit for Michigan. The safe limit for Michigan is like 6,900 and something, and that's how I convinced the Eagle, or the old DEQ, to come out and test my soil. And so I finally got them to come out in March, and I haven't got those results back yet. I am calling him. He's trying to get them, but they said it would take 6 weeks. It's been 8 weeks. So but hopefully I'll have them before next Tuesday. And but when these levels are this high, it's the health department's job to research where the contamination is coming from. They tried telling me that we don't regulate planes, we don't regulate the air. It's not our job. I heard that from county after county: Macomb County, Oakland County, St. Clair, Genesee, Saginaw. I emailed all the counties. I talked to Eagle. I talked to the state. I talked to the county level. And I finally, hopefully, we'll have an update with those new results and see what the Eagle is actually going to do about it. Are they actually going to research where all this aluminum is coming from, and barium and lithium?
So now your career, water testing is a very normal thing you do all the time.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
But then what led you to really get into the chemtrail thing? I think you mentioned to me at one time something about your garden and everything.
Yes. Oh, yeah. The reason I got into this was I actually bought a property across the street from me, and I was going to grow an organic garden. I wanted all fresh food. I didn't want to buy it from the grocery store. And for 2 years, I tried to grow a garden, and I failed. But then I was learning about chemtrails, and I'm thinking, well, maybe I can test for these things in the soil. And so that's why I did it. And when I realized the aluminum in there, and I found out that aluminum is what was stopping my garden from growing. And that's not even supposed to be in the air and the water.
I see. Now, we had a couple pictures of chemtrails. And as you mentioned, you said there's contrails and chemtrails. The contrails we've always seen over the years. You see a jet high up there, 30,000 feet, and you see a very short stream behind the jet because the engine's hot. It's very cold up there. And, it's hot and cold, and you have a little airstream, but it dissipates quickly. But these things, especially if they see the pictures we have up, stay there forever. Well, forever, but they stay and they expand and they just become a thin cloud and probably reflect the sun and all. And the pictures that we show are 2 pictures taken the same day on each side of the county, Shelby Township and Chesterfield Township, at the same time. One was taken by a person in Shelby, and they told me about these chemtrails over their house and everything. And I walked outside to look. There was some above me, but when I looked to the west towards Shelby, I took a picture of what they saw from the other side of the county. So they're both very similar pictures when you look at them. And not only that, but some are curved. You don't see curved chemtrails. I mean, so these jets are supposed to be contrails, is that it? It's supposed to be natural. Well, how many jets fly from Detroit to Chicago in a circle, or Detroit to New York in a circle? I mean, that don't happen. I mean, so what is going on here? So, but your testing has really been amazing. So now you go to Absolute Labs, I believe.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And so that's
They're in Auburn Hills.
A non-government facility.
Private, yep. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, yeah, very good. So,
yeah. So actually, when Eagle came out to test my soil, he took a sample, and I took a sample right next to him to keep him honest, because I don't trust the government.
Right.
But like I said, I really want to get those results back, because my results from the Eagle testing, when he tested that day, that was on March 26th of 25, was the aluminum levels were actually a little bit less than the first time. It was 7,903. And the strontium which was very concerning. Well, the barium lithium didn't show up above the 37 or the 18, but strontium was double the safe limit at 8.8. The safe limit in Michigan is 4.4.
Yeah, now tell us more about this, because I've never heard, to be honest, I've never heard of strontium. So
Strontium is more like a metal. It's liquid form, but strontium is a chemical that actually absorbs into the soil really quickly, and it can get into aquifers and stuff like that. Strontium is slightly, I called the lab and they told me it was slightly radioactive. And why are they dumping radioactive stuff on us? I mean, where did this come from? For people that think that chemtrails aren't real,
and potentially, what does that do to a person?
oh, that could cause all kinds of, especially neurological. A lot of these are neurological. Strontium, barium, aluminum, they all cause neurological damage, but they can cause many other things: nausea, vomiting, upset stomach, eye burns. There's all kinds of things if you get too much. But the thing is, this is scary thinking about, we're humans. We're a little bigger than our animals and our dogs and our cats and our cattle and our horses, but they affect their little bodies. What are you going to do? I mean, if we're finding this in rainwater, what's in the ponds? When your dog swims and drinks the water out of the pond, you can't stop him from drinking these chemicals.
Right.
It breaks my heart.
That's true. Yeah. Yeah. Wildlife and animals, they're going to drink places we don't drink. They're just going to drink anywhere they see a puddle.
Yeah. And all of these, aluminum, barium, lithium, and strontium, they can all get absorbed into plants. The fish are affected. So every living thing on Earth is being affected by these chemtrails, and it's killing everything. You know,
for how many years have we heard the environmentalists pulling their hair out over all kinds of stuff? And yet you have this, you have the stuff in the food, everything, and you never hear a word out of these people. Not a word.
Not a word. Do you remember when we were young, because we're a little bit older?
You're younger than me.
Yeah, a little bit. But we used to have a lot more bugs on our cars, didn't we? And we used to, actually, there was products to get the bugs off your car. How many bugs do you clean off your car today?
Quite a few. I never counted them, but quite a few.
There's a lot less today than there was. And think about when we took the canary into the mine and the canary died, the people got out. I'm saying, when it comes to chemtrails, the canary's on life support. There's less bugs everywhere. My daughter lives out in Saginaw County. There's no mosquitoes. She lives on a river with a half-acre pond. There are no mosquitoes. I know they spray for them, and it's probably not directly from chemtrails, but it's still chemicals that they're spraying on
I
us.
haven't seen a mosquito yet myself, to tell you the truth.
This year?
I don't recall seeing a mosquito yet this year. And there's other bugs too. There's such a thing as bees that we rely on for our crops.
And those are showing 70% more aluminum in their bodies. They're absorbing the aluminum. The plants, the fish, the bees, everything is absorbing these chemicals. And it's not affecting us as much as it's affecting them, because they're small.
Yeah.
And their bodies can't handle it. And when your dog dies of cancer or kidney disease or something, you need to look at their food. You need to look at their water. What are they drinking? What are they eating? And a lot of this is all being sprayed on us.
Yeah. Look at the financial part of it involving pets. Dogs, there was a time people didn't spend much on their pets. They got sick and died. They got sick and died. Nowadays, people will spend tons of money to save that animal because it's part of the family. So the animal gets sick when it shouldn't, and people are running to the vet and spending all kinds. I've seen people major operations and things to save a beloved, cat, dog. So there's that the financial aspect too, which is the least important. But I'm just saying that years ago, people could not afford or even dream of spending huge amounts of money to save their animal, and so now they do, and they're sicker than back then.
Exactly. And just like humans, we should be detoxing from all these chemicals. What about our dogs? What about our cats? How do we detox them? Does a vet ever talk about that? No. How are we going to save our animals?
Nobody wants to talk about that. I don't know.
The only way to protect yourself from these is detoxing. Find a detox that's good for you. I hate saying ask your doctor because I don't trust doctors, but ask your doctor what would be a safe detox to get rid of these metals out of your body, because they build up and they build up and they affect your pineal gland. Did you know aluminum and fluoride, they combine, and it helps it absorb those two into your pineal gland, which is your spirituality. It's your consciousness. And once they get that fluoride on there and the aluminum, it kind of dumbs you down like you don't care. And
America has been dumbed down to some great degree.
yes,
And you mentioned a couple times, don't trust my government, don't trust the doctors. And there's our people out there say, oh, you don't trust anybody. Well, wait a minute. Our government has not exactly been a pillar of trust, and nor has our medical profession. I mean, this vaccinations and forced vaccinations and all the sickness and death that's caused. And then our government, who will not look at anything when you give them facts, and yet we're supposed to trust them.
mm-hmm.
Well, it's not my venue. Oh, okay. See you later. Thanks for listening. I mean, it's just maddening to me. So anyway,
and so there's good things happening in Michigan. They introduced a bill about a month ago, House Bill 4304, to ban the chemtrails and geoengineering, the conspiracy.
Good.
And along with 25 other states that have legislation or have already banned them. There's 25 states with legislation. Florida just banned them, but their ban doesn't take effect until October 1st. So I'm asking people to call their reps in Michigan and have them add to the bill an immediate cease and desist.
So when the governor signs it, it's it.
Yep, it's done.
If our governor signs it, that'll be very important. That's good. That's good news. Excuse me. I'm sorry. And also, it proves to people that say, oh, chemtrails aren't real. If these states are doing this and there's legislation, that in and of itself proves they exist.
Yeah. What are these people doing?
If they exist and it's man-made chemicals dumped in the air, it's got to be stopped. That's all there is to it. It's very simple, not rocket science. So we have to encourage these people. That 4304, we need it passed. And we also have to encourage our Republicans, because the Republican Party doesn't have a history of being big-time fighters. And right now, they technically are not in power, except for the House. And it's very easy to be brave and pass all kinds of wonderful things when you know there's a governor not going to sign it. So we have to encourage them that when we get a Republican governor, that the same legislation, if we don't get it through now, will get to that governor's desk, and not all of a sudden, oh, there's all kinds of side issues we didn't consider before.
Well, Mark, I've talked to both sides. I've talked to Republicans and Democrats about these chemtrails. Well, yeah, I just knock on doors. I don't care who you are. I'm going to talk to you. And I told one of the Democrats, I said, this is one bill that both parties can get behind because it affects every living thing on Earth.
It doesn't ask
It
you
even
what party
affects
you are.
Whitmer. It even affects her kids, her grandkids. So why wouldn't she want it to pass? Why wouldn't everyone come together on this matter and stop what I call the genocide of Americans?
So in other words, it should float and steam right through the House.
It should. It affects every single person, every single living being, anything on Earth. It's affecting.
Yep.
And for somebody to say, no, we're going to keep them going because we need to make it rain is absolutely ridiculous.
In Michigan, you don't have to make it rain.
No, it'll rain on its own. Yes.
You can't hardly purchase a nice day lately.
Yeah.
But anyway, it's true. We don't need to make it rain. It's not about the rain. It's about environment, global weather changing, whatever.
They call it global warming.
Yeah.
But I say if you stop spraying the skies, Mother Nature will take over and the weather will just be just fine.
It will
trust God. Always
Amen.
Trust God.
Absolutely. It'd be just fine. It was fine for me for 70 years.
Well, they've been spraying us for a long time. We just didn't know it. And I think it's just getting worse. And that's why people are noticing it.
Well, they're probably advancing their chemicals because you showed me earlier all those patents. They've been working on it all along.
Yeah.
Improving what they're spraying in the air. Right?
Yeah, I'd like to show the audience this because people say that the chemtrails aren't real. But this is an article from PubChem about strontium and barium, precursors for use and chemical vapor disruption or deposition an atomic layer deposition and rapid vapor deposition. This is talking about how they get it into the air and the mechanisms from the planes.
Mhm.
And then you flip through here. Hang on.
The list of patents.
Oh my God, there's all kinds of them. If I can find them this time. Where are the patents? What did I do with them?
It's okay. We don't have a commercial break.
Oh, here's some patents. Here's some patents, but there's a lot of patents. There's thousands and thousands of, these are all different patents. Weather modification, anything. These are the patents. And another thing that we didn't talk about is silver iodide. That's what makes it rain.
Mhm.
That chemical doesn't break down for like 23 years. It's in our fish. And that's another thing that I haven't tested for, so I didn't really talk about that earlier, but silver iodide is the main ingredient in making it rain. But if they really wanted to use that for good, why do we still have droughts? Why do we still have floods? They have patents that could control hurricanes and where they go. Why are they still hitting land?
Yeah.
I look up these patents. If people out there don't believe me, look the patents up. They're not hard to find. It's all public record. Look these patents up. If they were using it for good, the world would be a better place, but they're not using them for good.
No, they're not.
And they don't care. I mean, they did a study in the 60s about aluminum on the brains of Alzheimer's patients, and they said, well, we couldn't come anything conclusive. And they said since then they haven't done any testing, but people are saying there would be no Alzheimer's or dementia if there was no aluminum.
I read something once, quite a while ago, about aluminum, encouraging people not to use aluminum cookware.
Yep.
Use stainless steel or copper or cast iron or whatever. I remember that because they considered aluminum one of the problems with the Alzheimer's and all that stuff. And it could very well be. Aluminum is a very soft metal. So when you're cooking, it's easy, I would think, for that to get into the food.
Yeah, I don't use them anymore at all.
No, we don't either. We use stainless steel.
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to use cast iron, but the wife won't use cast iron.
Oh, I have cast iron.
Do you?
Yeah.
You get iron that way in your food, and iron's good.
Yeah, I don't think I have a problem with iron.
No, iron's good.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah, but anyway, yeah.
But I wanted to mention that I will be speaking again on next Tuesday.
Mm-hmm.
And actually, is the information up on the screen there? Yeah, I know. I sprung it on you at the last minute there. Sorry. But it's at Lifesong Church. It's We the County Sanilac, and it's at 5208 West Sanilac Road in Snover, Michigan. And it's Tuesday, May 20th at 6:30. And that's about all I have. But I really appreciate and thank you bringing me, because I normally just talk one-on-one, and there's just a bigger audience out there, and I really need to get this information out there, and I need patriots to help and test and get the word out. And thank you for having me.
We have a lot of podcasts too. It's not just us. I got friends around the state that have different podcasts, so maybe we can get you on there. And the one thing about it is you don't have to travel a long distance. You can do it on a laptop. So we'll get you on more too, because this has got to get out there, especially since we have 4304 to talk about.
Yeah, that's the greatest thing. I cried when they introduced that. I was like, oh my God, yes, we did it. We did it. We got the bill.
Yep, good. Is there a lot of supporters of the bill that you're aware of?
Oh, absolutely.
That signed on?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Because like you said, of course, there's other things too that never should have been partisan but are. But it should not be a partisan thing.
No, because it affects every living thing. I mean, when our pets are dying because the government is spraying stuff on us, we should all be enraged.
Yep.
And we should all fight back. But the pineal gland, the fluoride, it dumbs us down and makes us more like we don't care. And people just don't care anymore. And it's because of these.
Maybe it's one of the elements in turning us into a socialist state. People don't care. Get people not to care.
Yeah.
Who knows? I don't know. But anyway, I want to really thank you for this. I want to thank you for coming in such a short notice. And all we have now is a reminder for our U.S. political trivia night on Tuesday, May 20th at 6 p.m. And we'd like people to come to that. You can find it at MichiganMatters.org. Just go to the website, calendar's on there, and there'll be information. I want to thank you all for tuning in. I mean, it's not television anymore, so I don't know how to describe some of this stuff. But anyway, thank you for watching, and we'll be back again next week. And thank you very much. Pray for America, pray for Michigan, pray for Trump. A lot going on, folks. We got to win this thing. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Thank you.